What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another video from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, before we get going with today's video, if you're new to the channel and tuning in for the first time, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below and hit the bell icon right beside it. That way you will be notified every time we go live or upload another video. We tend to upload right around 2 videos a week for you guys, and then we also tend to do 2, sometimes even 3 streams. We do one every single Sunday, just to kind of give a update on the market, what I'm looking at for the market going into the upcoming week, and then we usually have 1 or 2 streams throughout the week along with those 2 other videos as well, just with like a portfolio update, letting you guys know what I've been trading, all that good stuff. And speaking of that, we also have a Discord group chat. The link for that's down in the description below. It's of course totally free to join. I don't charge for anything associated with this channel, of course. And there's about 200 of you in there now, so it's just awesome to see that community continue to grow. And if you ever have any questions or anything, that is by far the easiest way to reach me, or of course you can comment down below as well. But with that, we'll just go ahead and get started with today's video, which is just, it's going to be a pretty simple and pretty straightforward video, just how to find oversold stocks. So of course you can always use a scanner. I don't really like to use those personally. Me personally, I like to just go through and set up my own watch list of stocks and ETFs, futures, that kind of thing that I understand. So definitely have your watch list handy. Dive into a whole bunch of different kinds of stocks. I mean, just because my watch list is this big doesn't mean that I'm trading all of these. Honestly, I only tend to trade a few things for the most part, unless if a stock is just ridiculously oversold. And what gave me the idea to do this video was this week, JP Morgan had a pretty solid bounce, and over the last day or two now, it's been having some selling pressure. It popped up over $100, over 103 briefly. And as you can see, it pulled back quite a bit. We've been riding right along that lower Bollinger Band as of late, and we just barely touched it, and then we came off of it. Now we're struggling to stay above the 8 EMA currently, and that's kind of, I mean, this stock here, for example, isn't necessarily a good example of an oversold stock. And the reason for that being is we did not hit oversold on the RSI. Now that's not always a key indicator. We were definitely cooled off enough where this could by all means push to the upside. I was actually super close to pulling the trigger and taking a position on this in after hours Friday. I did not. I was looking at getting in just below 98. We'll see what happens overall. But if we take a look, I'm going to try to actually find a stock here that could potentially be oversold. So let's take a look. I know airlines have been hit for a while. Let's take a look at like American Airlines. So, okay, this may be a good potential opportunity here. So American Airlines was down almost 4.5% on Friday, and you can see it's having some pretty solid resistance just above $12. And we can see now that our Bollinger Bands are really, they've gotten tight since Friday afternoon. We did not come down really and touch our lower Bollinger Band. That's the only thing here that makes me a little bit skeptical. But if you had pointed out that, you know, this did barely flash oversold on the RSI, and our MACD also was pretty near cross territory, I might have been willing to take a bet on American Airlines. Not saying for a fact that I would, but say you got in this around $10.45. And then you wrote it up into the close. That was $10.75, it looks like, is where it closed. So that would have been a 30-cent profit per share divided by your initial investment of, what we say, $10.45? Yeah, $10.45. That would be a almost 3% profit on that trade, and that would be a very good day trade in my opinion. If you took a $1,000 position in that trade, that means you would have made about $30 on that trade. So that would not be a bad little trade setup for sure. And all that we did was, again, I mean, we're not like using any fancy tools or anything. We're just scanning our watch list, seeing things that are down. And we saw that American Airlines was down over 4% on the day. And at one point it was actually 5 cents lower, so it was actually down pretty much dead on 4.5%. It was down almost 4.4, so it was down about 4.5% near the lows. And American Airlines actually has a little bit more room to run. I would like to see it. I probably would have held because it was still down heavily. But if you're more of a day trader, you just like getting in and out, you still would have made about 3% on that trade. Me personally, I'm more of a swing trader, and I know lots of you guys are as well. And we would probably hold this because we'd want to see it retest probably somewhere around 11.15. So say our price target was $11.15. We're not even talking 12, 12.25, anything. We're just simply saying 11.15. That would be what, a 70-cent profit. And we got in at 10.45. That would turn around and actually be almost a 6.7% profit. So we'll go with our theory that we invested $1,000, and that would end up being almost a 67, pretty much dead on, a $67 profit, probably within a overnight 1 to 2 day trade, 1 to 2 day swing trade at the most. So that, I honestly wish that I had seen that actually, because I probably would have done that trade. But like I said, I tend to stick with just leverage ETFs myself. Leverage ETFs, micro E-mini futures, those tend to be my biggest plays, which of course, those of you that have been with the channel for a while know that I play TQQQ the most. That and SQQQ, SPXL, that kind of thing. Those are what I tend to play. And as of right now, we're not in anything. We're in completely all cash going into this weekend, just because everything's kind of either we're getting ready to break out to the upside, or we could potentially go back down and still maintain this sideways action. So there's nothing really attractive to us at the moment. But if you were looking at something that may be potentially oversold, that is where you go over to SQQQQ, where again we look at that 1 hour chart. We tend to look at the 1 hour chart the most, and if we're a little bit skeptical, sometimes we'll also pull up the 4 hour and even the 1 day chart sometimes if needed. And like I said, you can see here why I didn't even invest in SQQQQ, because it's not really showing signs of oversold. It's not overbought by any means. It could definitely run. The 1 hour chart almost tricked me, because we were, or this is the 1 day, I knew it didn't look right. The 1 hour chart, as you can see, we have hit that lower Bollinger Band, and almost, not quite, but almost every single time you hit this, you get a good pop to the upside. More times than not, again, it's not 100%. You could bounce briefly, get rejected at the 8 EMA, and continue on down and create that downtrend and continue to go down. So I just didn't do it because nothing really happened. I mean, just like with TQQQQ, it went up pretty heavily on Friday, and then it just kind of stalled out at the end of the day. So there just wasn't nothing that really attracted me to anything going into late Friday after I was trading. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's pretty sweet, short, and to the point. The main thing is just fill your watch list. I cannot stress enough. Get it pop back up there. Fill in your watch list. I mean, fill it with so many stocks. Just think of stocks and companies that you know quite a bit about. You deal with them on a day-to-day basis. Things like Apple, Starbucks, Walmart, Target, Amazon, just all different kinds of stocks, JP Morgan, just different stocks that you know of off the top of your head. Just fill them with a general watch list. Just title it like companies that you know to trade, and just skim through from time to time. And when you see something that is down pretty heavily, just take a look at it, see if it's oversold. The main thing with if something is oversold, just because it's oversold does not mean that it has to go back up. Does it usually, at least short term, have some sort of a bounce? Yeah, but it just because it's oversold doesn't mean it has to keep, doesn't mean that it has to go back up. A prime example is SQQQ. This is an inverse ETF of QQQ, obviously, or TQQQ specifically, and it is in a strong downtrend, of course. And you can see, I mean, it goes oversold many times, yet it continues to go down. So you need to be careful with, if you're getting in something that's oversold, you need to make sure that it's not in a downward trend. or if you are going to get in it, you need to make sure that you're planning on getting out of that very quickly. Just be sure to cover some sort of profit, because we do not like playing things that are in a downward trend. That is why we tend to play TQQQ the most, and we just simply play the big dips on it. That is how we made a majority of our profit this week. Actually, we played the big dips and we just rode it back up into the end of the week, and that's how we made about 8% on our portfolio this week. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, if you found some value in it, definitely hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And like I said, if you're new to the channel and made it all the way through, we'd love to have you here for future videos and future streams. Definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below and hitting the bell icon right beside it. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. And then like I said at the beginning, we'd love to have you in that Discord group chat. We have close to 200 members in there now, so it's awesome to just see you guys continue to pile in there. And I love just communicating with you guys on a day-to-day basis. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving your financial freedom this year. And I will see you guys in the next video or stream. But until then, take it easy, everyone.